3 win Nobel Prize for showing how cells sense low oxygen. 2 Americans and British scientists won a Nobel Prize last Monday for discovering details of how the body's cells sense and react to low oxygen levels, providing a foothold for developing new treatment for anemia, cancer, and other diseases. Dr. William Jean Kaelin of Harvard Medical School and D.F. Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Grady Salmanzar of Johns Hopkins University, and Peter J. Ratcliffe at Francis Crick Institute in Britain and Oxford University won the prize for advances in physiology of medicine. The scientists, who worked largely independently, will share the 9 million coroner 918,000 cash award, said the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm. They revealed the mechanism for one of life's most essentially adaptive processes, the Nobel Committee said. They revealed the mechanism for one of life's most essential adaptive process. Cells can encounter lowered oxygen not only from situations like living at high altitude, but also from things like a wound and interferes with local blood supply. Their response trigger reactions that include producing red blood cells, generating new blood vessels, and fine-tune the immune system. Cells can encounter lower oxygen not only from situations like living at high altitudes, but also from things like a wound that interferes with local blood supply. The Nobel Committee said scientists are focused on developing drugs that can treat diseases by either activating or suppressing the oxygen sensing machinery. Such manipulation could help in attacking cancer cells, experts says. The Nobel Committee said scientists are focused on developing drugs that can treat diseases by either activating or suppressing the oxygen sensing machinery. Such manipulation could help in attacking cancer cells, experts said. Another payoff is pills to boost production of red blood cells in anemia. Another payoff is pills to boost production of red blood cells in anemia, which can appear in people with chronic kidney disease. One such drug has been approved in China and Japan, and filing for approval in the US is expected soon, Carneal said. The word foothold in the first paragraph means that react providing a foothold for developing new foothold, a small hole or crack where you can safely put your foot while climbing a steep rock. An initial accomplishment that opens the way for further developments. a single fact, idea, or opinion that part of an argument or discussion. According to the article, which statement is true? Three scientists shared a Nobel Prize because they work together. Our body may fine-tune the immune system if cells are lack of oxygen. Pills to boost production of red blood cells in anemia could be sold in America. How does discovering how cells sinks low oxygen work or treating cancer? It can help developing drugs that can treat diseases by either activating or suppressing the oxygen sinking machinery. It can help developing pills to boost production of red blood cells in anemia. It can help mitigate reactions including producing red blood cells, generating new blood vessels, and fine-tuning the immune system. Three-win Nobel Prize for showing how cells sinks for low oxygen. Two Americans and British scientists won a Nobel Prize last Monday for discovering details of how the body's cells sense and react to low oxygen levels, providing a foothold for developing new treatment for anemia, cancer, and other diseases. Anemia, 贫血 anemia King Jr. of Harvard Medical School and Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Greg Esmenza of Johns Hopkins University, and Peter J. Ratcliffe at the Francis Crick Institute in Britain and Oxford University won the prize for advances in physiology or medicine. The scientists, who work largely independently, will share the $9 million cash award, said the Collins Institute in Stockholm. Cash award. They reveal the mechanism for one of the most essential adaptive processes, the Nobel Committee said. Adaptive processes, essential adaptive can lower oxygen not only for situations like living at a high altitude, but also from things like a wound that interferes with local blood supply. The response trigger a reaction that include producing red blood cells, generate new blood immune system. Says focus on developing drugs that can treat disease by either activating suppressing the oxygen sensing machinery. Such manipulation could help in attacking cancer cells, expert says. Another payoff is pills to boost production of red blood cells in anemia, which can appear in people disease such as drugs can approve and finding approval in the US is a back soon, Killen said. Three-win Nobel Prize for showing how cells sense low oxygen. Two Americans and British scientists won a Nobel Prize last Monday for discovering details of how the body's cells sense and react to low oxygen levels, providing a foothold for developing new treatment for anemia, cancer, and other diseases. William J.K. Jr. of Harvard Medical School and the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Greg L. Smenzer of Johns Hopkins University, and Peter J. Ratcliffe at the Francis Crick Institute in Britain and Oxford University won the prize for advances in physiology or medicine. The independently will share the 9 million krona Canis Institute in Stockholm. They revealed the mechanism for one of life's most essential adaptive processes, the Nobel Committee said. Cells can encounter low oxygen not only from situations like living at high altitudes, but also from things like wood that interferes with local blood supply. Their response triggered reaction that include producing red blood cells, generating new blood vessels, and fighting immune system. The Nobel Committee said scientists are focused on dropping drugs that treat disease by either activating or suppressing the oxygen sensing machinery. Such manipulation could help in attacking cancer cells, experts says. Another payoff is pills to boost production of red blood cells in anemia, which can appear in people with chronic kidney disease. Once a drug has been approved in China and Japan, and filing for approval in the US is expected soon. Kalin said. "我的天呐，这么长。Another payoff is pills to boost production of red blood cells in anemia, which can appear in people with chronic kidney disease. One such drug has been approved in China and Japan, and a filing for approval in the US is expected soon, Kalin said. Payoff 结果成果解释 the result of a set of action or an explanation at the end of something. The payoff for years of research is a microscope which performs better than all of its competitors. The payoff of the years of research is a microscope which performs better than all of its competitors. Pills 药片药丸 a small flat round piece of medicine that you swallow without chewing it. Sleeping pill. Why do I have to take all these pills? Pill 药片 chronic 长期的、慢性的、难以治愈的或根除的 lasting for a long time, difficult to cure or get rid of. Most of them were chronically ill. Chronicle 按时间顺序的 chronicle 按时间顺序的 The fact should be presented in chronicle order 按时间顺序的 chronicle chronic kidney 肾脏 either of the two organs in the body that remove waste products from the blood and produce urine. Kidney failure 肾衰竭 kidney failure 肾衰竭 kidney failure. They had to remove his kidney. Internal organs 内脏 stomach liver pancreas 胰腺 pancreatic 胰腺的 liver stomach ovarian 卵巢的 internal organ 内脏 stomach liver pancreas filing 存档档案 a document report etc. that is officially recorded. A bankrupt filing, a document, report, etc. that is officially recorded. A bankrupt filing. Another payoff is pills to boost production of red blood cells in anemia, which can appear in people with chronic kidney diseases. 句子的主语 another payoff 成果，谓语 is 是宾语 pill 药片，后面不定式做定语 which 引导非限定性定语从句，说明这种贫血会出现在慢性肾病患者身上。Pills chronic kidney failure filing a backcraft fighting, Another payoff is pills to boost production of red blood cells in anemia, which can appear in people with chronic kidney disease. One such drug has been approved in China and Japan, and a filing for approval in the US is expected soon, Kaling said. The Nobel Committee said scientists are focused on developing drugs that can treat diseases by either activating or suppressing the oxygen sensing machinery. Such manipulation could help in attacking cancer cells, expert says. Activate 使活动激活使活化 to make something such as a device or chemical process start working. Activating 使活动激活 The burglar alarm is activated by movement. The burglar alarm is activated by movement. Inactivate 使活动使停止活动 Inactivate 使停止活动使停止活动使停止活动 The burglar alarm is activated by movement. Activate 使活动激化使活化 To make something 使活动激化 Suppress 压制阻止抑制 To prevent something from growing, developing or continuing. The word to suppress the body immune system. The virus suppress the body's immune system. The virus suppress the body's immune system. Suppress 武力镇压忍住 suppress 武力镇压 suppress 拓展意思 suppress 压制抑制阻止 suppress 忍住某种感情 She was unable to suppress her anger. She was unable to suppress her anger. The rebellion was brutally suppressed. The rebellion was brutally suppressed. Manipulation 控制操纵影响 Advertising like this is a cynical manipulation of the elderly. Advertising like this is a cynical manipulation of the elderly. Suppress Activate. The Nobel Committee said scientists are focused on developing drugs that can treat diseases by either activating or suppressing the oxygen sensing machinery. Such manipulation could help in attacking cancer cells, experts said. Immune system. Tune a guitar. Tune 调音校音。Vessel 血管脉管 Generate 产生引起 Trigger 发动触发干扰 Interfere 干扰 Interfere with 干扰 Interfere with wound 伤口 Altitude 海拔高海拔 Encounter 遭遇遇到Cells can encounter lower oxygen not only from situations like living at a high altitude, but also from things like a wound that interferes with local blood supply. Their response triggers reactions that include producing red blood cells, generating new blood vessels, and fine-tune the immune system. They revealed the mechanism for one of life's most essential adaptive processes. The Nobel Committee said, Encounter 遭遇遇到有指令人不快或困难的事 to experience something, especially something unpleasant or difficult, while you are trying to do something. 遭遇遇到有指令人不快或困难的事 We encountered a number of difficulties in the first week. run into，run into 遇到，run into danger，run into trouble，run into difficulties 遭遇危险、困难、麻烦，run into encounter. We run into thick fog on the way home. Altitude 海拔高度。The height above sea levels. The height above sea levels. We are flying at an altitude of 6,000 meters. Altitudes 高处高地 A place that is high above sea level. A place that is high above sea level. Snow leopard live at high altitudes. Snow leopards live at high altitudes. 海拔高处高地。Wound 身体上的伤口，武器造成的伤。An injury to part of the body, especially one in which a hole is made in the skin using a weapon. The wound healed slowly. Wound 通常指士兵在战场上受伤，或指因蓄意实施暴力行为而受伤，比如 stab wounds。Injury 表示某人受到意外伤害。如路遇车祸或进行身体运动时的受伤，用 injure 或 injury。Wound 通常指士兵在战场上受到伤害，因此或者因蓄意实施的暴力行为而受的伤，比如 stab wounds。Injure 表示受到的意外伤害，如路遇车祸或体育运动时受的伤，用 injure 或 injury。A man and his body were injured in the explosion. Many of the deaths that occur in cycling are due to head injuries. Interfere with, to stop or slow something, to make something slower or more difficult. The drug might interfere with the child's physical development. The drug might interfere with a child's physical development. I wish my mother would stop interfering and let me make my own decision. I wish my mother would stop interfering and let me make my own decision. Trigger 发动引起触发 to make something happen suddenly. To make something happen suddenly. Some people found that certain foods trigger their headaches. Some people found that certain foods trigger their headaches. Some food found that certain foods trigger their headaches. Some food found that certain foods trigger their headaches. The trigger for the strike was the closure of yet another factory. The trigger for the strike was the closure of yet another factory. Generate 产生引起 to produce or create something. Generate a discussion 制造一场争论。Generate new ideas. The company New England Electric burns coal to generate power. Vessel 血管脉管。A tube that carries blood through the body of a person or an animal, or liquid through the parts of a plant. Almost burst a blood vessel. Almost burst a blood vessel. 非常生气。Almost burst a blood vessel. To become very angry about something. Mom almost burst a blood vessel when I told her what happened. Mom almost burst a blood vessel when I told her what happened. Vessel 大船、船体、容器、器皿。A Bronze Age drink a vessel 青铜时代的饮器。A Bronze Age drinking vessel. Tune 调音。Tune 曲调曲子。To adjust a music instrument so that it plays at the correct pitch. Tune a guitar. Drivers are urged to make sure that car engines are properly tuned. Drivers are urged to 怂恿催促 make sure that the car engines are properly tuned. I don't know the title, but I recognize the tune. Immune system, the system in your body that produces substances to help it fight against infections and disease. My immune system is not as strong as it ought to be. Immune 免疫 be immune to 对什么什么有免疫力，不受什么什么的影响。Immune to 对什么什么有免疫力，不受什么什么的影响。Immune to be immune to. Adults are often immune to German methods. You will eventually become immune to criticism. Measles, 麻疹。The scientists who work largely independent